Welcome to the full tutorial on how to make a mobile game in Godot. Today, this is what we are going to be making. When we play the game, we have our play button, options, quit, and our name react button here. When you press the options menu, it has the instructions on how to play the game and it has a high score. When you go back, you play the game, it shows various shapes here and you have to memorize the sequence. So triangle, star, and triangle, triangle, star, and triangle. Then you win the game. You can go back and you can quit the game. And that is what we are going to be making in this video. Please like, share, subscribe, and also comment down below if this video helped you, and let's get right into it. Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we are starting a new series, and as usual, thank you all so much for watching my videos, and let's get right into it. So what's going to be different in this video is that we are going to be using our own assets. So we're going to design our assets using Sprite. You can use different softwares, you can use Photoshop, you can use Paint, but for this series I'm going to be using Sprite. So some information about the game. But the game that we're going to make, it's going to be very simple. It's going to be a memory based game. So you have a bunch of shapes that will show up, and then you have to memorize this sequence of shapes. Then you select which shape comes before which, and then you win the game. So basically what we're going to do is that we're going to design these shapes in Sprite and then export them into Godot so we can use them. So first off, let's open up our Sprite. As you can see, it's a very fast app and it's kind of, I think it's cheap. You can get it on Steam for maybe $10 or $15. I can't remember how much. And let's just open up a new file. And yeah, so we're going to go with 16 by 16. Let's say 16 by 16, and okay. So first off, we're going to work with 4 shapes: star, triangle, square, and cycle or round shape. So let's first design our square shape, which you can do easily with the rectangle tool. Let's just come here and do a square, and that's all. So we just save it. Let's call it 16 square, and we save it. We also have to export it so we can use it in Godot. So file, export as PNG. Everything else is okay, and we export. Good. Next, now we do a file, new, another 16 by 16. Okay. This time we'll design our triangle. So we're going to use a mirror tool, so we don't have to design it for both sides. So we just select this. So anything that happens here also happens here. So let's draw our triangles like this. Oh, sorry, let me remove the square stuff. Let's put it back to pencil. And let's design our triangle. Something like this. It's close enough. And let's bring it down here to the end. Good. So we have our triangle. Let's disable it. Let's save it. Let's call it 16 triangle. And we save it. Then we export it. Export as PNG and export. Good. Next, now we design that would be our cycle or round shape. So we also have the option to select our round shape directly, so we don't have to do any much design. So just come here, select round shape, and do it here. And that's all. So we save it also. Let's just call it 16 round. Save. Now we export it. And last shape, we are designing our triangle shape. No, sorry, our star shape. I just hope I can get this right because star is a bit not difficult, but it's a bit tricky for me. So let's use our symmetry shape so we don't have to do it on both sides. Select our pencil and let's see, star like this, and let's put one here, stretch it out, and let's see. Okay, this is looking like a very terrible star. Okay, let's do one here, let's do another one here. And there we go. Oh wow, this looks good. So this is very good for our first try. Let's save it. Say 16 star. Save it and let's export it. Export as star. Good. So now we have our 4 shapes. We also need to design like a bigger version of these shapes, which would be the ones that would be like on the slideshow. So these bigger shapes will show, and then you have to select those shapes in the smaller ones. I'll show a design of how I want the game to look like later. So, but for now, we'll have to design bigger versions of these shapes. So first off, we'll just do a file, new. This time, I think we should go with 64 by 64. Say okay. So 64 by 64 is more details, so it will take maybe a little bit more time to design. So let's just start with the simpler ones first. Let's start with our square, and let's just bring it here. We save it as 64 square. Good. Save it as 64 square and also export that 64 square. We do another one. This time let's do our round. Yeah, round. And we do that here. We save it. We call it 64 round. Save it. We also export it. Good. Next we do our, I think that's triangle. Yeah. So our triangle shape. We come here, we enable our tool so we don't have to do it twice, and then we come like this. Oh wait, let's disable our round tool. Let's put it back to pencil and do it like this. Okay, this is a terrible triangle. Let's use our line tool here and do a line. Okay. And let's go back to our pencil and stretch it like this. Good. This is a very good triangle. And we save it as 64 triangle. And we also export it. The last shape would be our star. Okay, let's see if we can get this right. Let's turn on our tool, select our pencil, and let's design our star. So 1, 2, let's see if we can get this right. Oh no, wait. Okay, you know what? Let's use our line tool, which is here, line tool. So we can just draw a stretch here. That's one stretch. Then we stop. Then we do another line straight. We stop. Let's get to the edge here. We stop. Then we do another line going down here. I think, oh here, not here. We stop. Do another one coming down to the edge here. Stop, then bring it another one here. Good. This is a very perfect star. So let's save it. We might have to do a bit of editing so they can all fit in the edge of the designs. Let's just do that now. Let's clean it. Let's clean this side so they can all be at the edge. Okay, and let's go back to our align tool. Let's see if we can, no, let's clean everything so it will be perfect. Clean all this. Let's go back to our line tool and stretch it to the edge. Yes. Then we do another one like this. Perfect. So now we save it as 64 star. And save it. Now let's export it. Good. So now we're done designing the big sizes and also the smaller sizes. So the idea that I have for the game is you have a big screen like this and you have various shapes that would show triangle, box, cycle, and then under here you have triangle, you have box, you have cycle, and you have your star. So based on the sequence of shapes that show here, you just select, okay, star came first, triangle came first, box second, and cycle third. So that's the entire layout and basics of the game. So yeah, I think we're going to stop here for today. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, hello everyone, welcome back. I'm thinking I want to make a couple of adjustments. Some of these designs, they don't look very good to me. It's just my personal preference, but I wish to redesign them. For example, this 16 triangle it doesn't look very nice, and also this 16 star, I believe, or is it 16 stars? It doesn't look very good. So I want to erase them and redesign them. It's just my personal preference, but you can choose to leave it like this. They still serve the same purpose. So let's start with the 16 triangle. We just take our eraser tool here and let's just clean everything. So we turn on our mirror tool, take our line tool and just do a line here. Good. And do another line at the bottom. Yeah, so it looks much better than how it did before. Save it, and then now we export it as 16 triangle. Good. Then same thing too for the 16 star. Doesn't look very good, so let's take our eraser, let's clean it, and let's design the star using our line tool. So I believe it was first like this. Let's make it smaller, then a straight line, then like this, then like this, and then another one that came like this. Yes. So this looks much better in my opinion. Let's put one here. So this looks much better than the freehand drawing that we had before, in my opinion. So we just save it, file, export as PNG. Good. So now we are done with our shapes. Now that I think about it, I also have another idea. It looks really boring. I guess we should add some colors to these shapes. So in order to avoid replacing the images that we have, we can go to our file here where all the PNGs are being stored, and we can just delete them. So since we plan on making some changes, so for now just delete the PNGs. Let's delete them. This is where I'm saving all what I export. Let's delete the PNGs first so that we can add colors to them. Good. So I'm thinking the star should be yellow. Yeah. So let's go to our paint bucket tool, which is G. Let's take yellow and let's paint it yellow. Good. Let's put here yellow. Let's save it and export it. That's 16 star. Good. Let's start with our square here. Square should be, let's say, green. Yeah, let's go with green here. Select our green color and put it here. Save it, export it as 16 square. Export. Now let's move to our triangle. Let's make our triangle, let's say red, or this is red. So select that, make it red, save it, export it. Good. Let's go to our round, and let's make our round to be, let's take something light like this color. I think this is gray. So let's select that, save it, export it. Good. Let's go to our star. So the yellow, our square was green, so we'll just make here green also. Is it the same green? Yeah. So we just make here green, save it and export it. Our round color was gray, so we also make it round gray too. Save it and export it. Our triangle was red, so we make it red. Save it and export it. And lastly, our star was yellow, so we paint it yellow, save it and export it. Good. So if we go back to our files, we can see, let's increase the size, extra large, so we can see now they have colors here, which is perfect. So we have our 16 round, 16 square, 16 star, 16 triangle, 64 round, 64 square, 64 stars, and 64 triangle. Good. So we are done with these assets. Next now would be to open up our Godot and set up the environment. So let's open up our Godot. Here it is. This is our formal project, so we'll just create a new project. I'm thinking of calling it for now shape pattern. Yeah, let's just call it shape pattern so that it can be easily recognizable. The name of a game is also very important. Shape pattern. We'll save it here. Username, our documents. Yeah, it's good. So we'll just create the shape pattern folder here, and we'll choose the mobile because I plan on making this to be a mobile game. So we have to choose a renderer as mobile because it supports desktop and mobile platforms. So we create edits. Good, here it is. So this is our empty scene. So we go here to our res. First of all, we create our new folder. We have, sorry about that, we have our folder for scripts. We have our folder for, let's call it art. Yeah, arts. We also have our folder for the scenes, although we are going to only have one scene, but who knows. Scenes. And I believe that would be it. So what we're going to do is that we're going to create our main scene. Our 2D scene, we just call it main. And save it in our scenes. Good. Then we go to where our art is, which is number 1. Let's move it here so we can drag our art into the art scene. So 16 round, drag it to arts. Right. Okay, let's bring everything here. Square. Okay, so square, drag it here. Star, drag it here. triangle, drag it here, the round shape, drag it here, square, drag it here, and our star, drag it here, and our triangle, drag it here. So we're done with all our art. Let's close it and let's open it. So let's move everything into our art folder. So here, 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 and we don't need this, so we can just delete it. Good. So now we are done designing our pixel art, and we have also set up the folders and all the resources that will be there. And I think that would be it for today, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Hello, so welcome back. The last time we were here, we stopped at creating all the essential folders and everything for the Godot environment. So let's get back right into it. Let's open up Godot, and it's a shape pattern. Okay, so for now we have everything set up. There's really nothing much to change, except so I had an idea just for so we can read it properly. I was thinking of changing the names of these images to something that we can easily recognize. So let's just change this to something like let's rename something like small round, and we'll probably do the same for the rest. Small round, small square. Let's just put an underscore here. Small square. Let's do the same thing here. Do it here also. Then we'll name this one Big Round. Okay, so now that we have all this out of the way, we can now go ahead and continue with the development. So first off, we want to set up the environment. So we know that we're making a mobile game, so this does not look like a layout for a mobile game. We want it to look like a mobile phone, so something like from here down to here in a horizontal fashion. So what we're going to do is that we're going to go to our project settings, Windows, then here we are going to set up the width, height, and aspect ratio and everything of our mobile game. Alright, so a typical mobile game would have a resolution of 720 pixels to 1280 pixels, yeah. And mode windowed, sure, that's okay. Resizable, yep. Borderless, no, we don't want that yet. Stretch mode, we want it to be canvas items. So canvas items, you use it mostly for 2D images, so it retains the image quality. Then we also want this to be kept. And Okay, let's see advanced settings if there's anything else that we need. Oh yeah, orientation. So we definitely want it to be portrait like the way a phone is. And I think that's all for here. If you close it, yep, so as you can see now it looks like a phone. Notice the blue line. Good. Okay, so now we are going to start adding our items. Our first item that we want to add is our canvas layer, which will hold it'll basically hold the UI of our mobile game. So let's just use a canvas layer. Put it on screen. Let's name it game UI. Nice. So in this game UI, we're going to now add the big box. So there'll be a box here and then 4 boxes under it. So that's plus, and let's look for a panel. Good. So the panel is here, but we want it to come to the center here. So let's rename our panel to something like I don't know, big box. Yeah. Nice. So big box. Then we would let's select the big box so we can resize it to come to the center here. So let's go to our inspector on the big box, layer, transform. Let's make the size something like 500. Nice. Yeah, 500 by 500. Okay, good. So then we come to the position. We want it to be in the center. So let's see, 110. Nice. And we want it to come down also. So 200. Okay, yeah, 200. Let's try 180. Okay, we have to move it by ourselves then. Let's make it 110. Yeah. Nice. So this is good. Next, now would want to add the 4 small boxes that would hold these small shapes. So next we're going to add a horizontal box container which would contain the 4 small boxes. Was it vertical? With horizontal, vertical. Okay, yeah, so horizontal is the one that is lying down. Good. I always get confused about that. So game UI, let's see, hbox container. Let's name it something like small boxes container. Nice. So this small boxes container is going to contain 4 small boxes, or 4 small, let's use panels. Yeah, 4 small panels. Panel. And we will just do Control D. 1, 2, 3, 4. Name this one. Let's see, what can we name it? Something that would remember it by. Small box 1. Small box 2. Small box 3. And small box 4. No, 4. Good. So now let's make some changes to this small box so we can bring it down here and it can all be perfectly aligned. Okay, so let's resize our small boxes container. So let's go to our layouts, let's go to our transform. We want it to be at the bottom here. I prefer just typing in the position rather than just dragging it, but you know what, to each their own. So let's try 0 here, and if we want it to come down, let's see 800, right? Okay, you know what, we're just going to drag it. We want it to be here, same position. You know what, I want it to be, yeah, this is good, this is okay. So let's just put it here, and then next we'll set our container sizing to expand, because it contains 4 boxes, so we want it to expand together with the boxes. Good. Then from there we'll select all these 4 boxes and do the same thing to them. So select one, hold Control, and select all the rest. Go to our layout, go to our container sizing. We want it to expand, and we want this to fill. Good. Then we'll set our minimum size. So let's see, 150 should be okay, right? 150 by 150. Nice. So 150 by 150, let's remove it. So this is how it's supposed to look like. Let's play it first and see. Nice. So this is how it would look like on a phone. We might have to adjust the phone size, but you know what, for now this is okay. So you have the big shape here, and then it shows in like a slideshow. So you have to memorize the sequence in which the shapes come, then you select which shapes you saw that come here. So yeah, I think that is where we are going to stop for today. So in the next video we're going to focus on the coding aspect. So code how the shapes are going to come in, and how selecting these buttons here, how it's going to interact with the shape. And then we'll have another separate UI that will show, oh, you've won or you've lost the game. So yeah, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, hello and welcome back. In the last video we talked about just setting everything up and all the folders and everything. So let's get into actually using our images. So let's open up our Godot and our shape pattern. Alright, so first off we're going to use our images here and replace them with these boxes. So in order to do that, we have to first of all change these into a texture React. So let's click on our big box and change type to a texture React. Good. Click on it. Texture will load one of the big pictures. So let's choose, let's say, a big round one for now. Good. So as you can see, it has this blurry look to it. So in order to fix that, we just go to our project settings, and I think we look for what's the word? Is it imports? Yeah, textures. No. Is it imports? I can't remember the name. Okay, so I found it. So we go to render. So from rendering we go to our textures, and then we change it from linear to nearest, so we can preserve the sharpness of the image. So it looks better now. Then we do the same thing for each and every one of these boxes. We hold Control and select everything. Right click, change type to a texture React. Nice. So we select each and every one and put the image of the small shapes in them. So for the first one, we load the triangle small shape. Second one, we load the cycle small shape. third one, we load the square small shape, and the last one we load the star small shape. Good. So it's already looking like a mobile game. Yep. So this is how it would look like. The shapes here would change, and you can select what sequence of shapes show here, and if you get it correct, then you've won the game. All right, so next now we'll have to do some back-end coding development. For now, we'll probably just work with this shape here, so we can let it change 4 times, and then in the next video would work on handling the user inputs. That may probably be the last video for the series. Alright, so let's create our let's add a script to this main here. So click on it, attach script. We want it to be empty, and the script should not save in the scenes. It should save. I have a script folder here, so you should save there. Save in the scripts. Open. Yep. Main.gd. Everything looks good, and we create. So we want to know if everything is okay. Let's just try with a simple ready function. Something like the script has loaded. Well, the script is loading. So let's save it and let's play and see if everything is all right. Yep, so as you can see here, the script is loading. All right, so next now would be to properly arrange our code. This is an opportunity for us to do that. So we can just come up here, and what I mean by arrange is something like this. Now that will be here. You can just see this place is for the variables. We can say this place is for the functions, so all functions will be under here. And yeah, so for now these are what we need. Yeah, so the first variable that we need an array that would hold all the 4 images, so it knows exactly what to cycle around, should I say, or what to loop around. Yeah, it's basically a loop. So we'll just say at export var, let's call it shapes. It would be an empty array. Good. Then we would want to store another variable that will hold the current sequence of shapes, so that it knows what to compare it to once you make your selection. So let's just say var. Wait, let's bring it up here. Var. Let's call it shape sequence. It's also an empty array. Then we also need another variable that will hold what the current shape is, what the current shape index. So we have 4 images, and in programming, when you are counting something, it starts from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Those are 4 images. So we want it that every time you start the game, it always starts at the 0 index, the first one. We don't want it to be saving progress of when you ended the game the last time. So just call it current index. It's 0. Yeah. So I think for now this are the 3 variables that we need. All right. So next now we would need the function that would generate the random sequence of shape. So let's go down here to our functions. Let's create some space here. and function. So we'll come down. Let's create it at the bottom. So we'll create another function. Let's just call it generate sequence. Nice. And this generate sequence will take in the length of the array. So we can say this generate sequence takes in the shape sequence which we have defined before, and it will be an empty array as usual. So it takes in the shape sequence that is currently being shown, and it will use that to create the random sequence of shapes. So it takes that shape sequence, and then we now use a traditional loop, a for loop in this instance. So for I in range of how many shapes you're showing right now, which is length, for every item in that list, I want you to generate a random list of shapes, and then append those random lists of shapes to this variable here. So shape. So this formula, I got it online, which is probably, it's the most optimal one that I could find, and you just append it using this formula here. It takes a shape, random I, percentage, it takes the shapes and the size. Good. So this formula would get the random sequence of shapes and append it here so that you can use it here. Okay, that's good. So now next in our ready function, we have to initialize certain functions that have already been inbuilt. That's why I like Godot. Godot has a lot of inbuilt functions, so you don't have to type everything out like this. So one of those inbuilt functions is called randomize. So simple. From the name randomize, it randomizes any sequence that you want. So we have randomize, and then we have our generate. So we can call our generate sequence. And how many sequence of shapes do we want to generate? So we have 4 pictures, so we probably want to generate 4. Good. And then we also call, let's see, generate our 4 sequence, call our randomize. Okay, so after it has generated the sequence and randomized it, we also need to display it. Yeah, and we will need to display it in the big box here. So let's go down again and create another function just to make our code clean and understandable. Let's call it display next shape. This display next shape, it will look at let's use the current index to determine if, okay, this sequence is complete. Now we can display it in the big box. So if the current index is less than the size of the shape sequence, then I want you to change the texture of the big box to match the shape sequence of the shapes. So let's make a reference to our game UI, and inside our game UI we want to target our big box, and inside the big box we want to target the texture. This is why I had to change it to a texture react. Take the shape sequence current index. Good. Takes that, and then once once it's done with that loop, we'll add 1. So it will continue to do that until it gets to number 4. So it's like a counter. So plus equal to 1. Yeah. Else, once it's done and it's gotten to the number 4, so it has looped through the 4 images 4 times in a random sequence. Then we can just print something simple like hey, the sequence is complete. Okay, this is good. So next, now I'm sure you're wondering, where do we start to import the shapes? Good. So now we have to import all our large shapes into the game. So let's see, main, so our shapes array now is shown. When you use something like add export, it means that you want to use it here. If you change this to add export and you save it, you can see shape sequences here. But we don't need shape sequence to be something that we can handle outside the game. So let's just clear this. Now we would drag our big shapes here. So big round. It's not accepting it. Okay. Maybe we have to explicitly state that we can only accept 2D textures, because probably it's expecting numbers here. Alright, so let's just come here, let's just clean this and say, hey, this array should accept, let's see, texture 2D. I think this should work better. Let's save it. So if we drag it, yeah, so let's click on it. So size 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 images. Let's drag the big one here and the big square here, big star here, big triangle here. Good. So now it has the 4 big images that it can randomly loop through. So maybe when you play the game the first time, it does round, triangle, box, star, then later star, box, triangle. So it has to be random every time that you play the game. So next, you might notice that even if we play the game, let's play it now, nothing really happens. It's still showing the same shape. Let's stop it and play it again. It's still not doing what we want it to do. So we want it to cycle through all the 4 shapes. So in order to do that, the first thing that comes to mind would be to use a timer. So after every 1 second, let's say, it should go to the next shape that is available in the shape sequence array. So to do that, number 1, we'll need to add a timer to the game node. So let's click our main, where is it, add child node, and a timer. Good. Let's call this timer sequence timer. Good. Sequence timer. Then we'll select it so that we can get rid of it now. Let's say, okay, yeah, 1 second is okay, and auto start should be off. 1 second, okay, yeah, this is okay. Good. So next now would be to start arranging our variable. So we need a variable that will keep track of if it's currently displaying the sequence, because we want this timer to work when we are displaying the sequence. Once the sequence has stopped, we don't need the timer anymore. The timer should also stop. So we can just say it's always displaying the sequence. Let's say var is, let's call it is displaying sequence. Let's be as descriptive as possible. Is displaying the sequence is true. Good. Then we also need a function that would display the next image after 1 second. So let's create another function. Let's call it since we are being descriptive, let's just say display next shape, and this display next shape take a loop. So yeah, I think we can probably use the same loop that we used here. Let's just copy this and we'll just make some small changes. Yes, display next shape has the same name as previously. Oh, what am I even doing? Oh my god, I'm so sorry. So we already have the function here, so we can just clean it. I forgot that we already created the display next shape, so we'll just make some small changes. After every loop, you should wait for 1 second before you go to the next one. So let's just call our sequence timer here. Oh my god, where's my $sign? Okay, our sequence timer should start. Okay. And then when it has ended, we want our is displaying sequence to become false, so it should stop. Is displaying sequence is false, and sequence is complete. Let's just change the sequence is complete. Now waiting for player inputs. Good. So now we'll have to add a connection from the sequence timer to our actual script. So we select, now we select our sequence timer and go to our node, and what it should do when the sequence timer has timed out. So we connect it to our main node here on sequence timer. So once the timer has timed out, that's 1 second is over, it should display the next shape. Good. That's all. So after 1 second, display the next shape. After each shape, start the timer. After 1 second, display the next shape. After each shape, start the timer. After one, so it's like a loop among these two functions here. And then let's see, we go to our function ready, and we initialize we initialize the variable. So let's say we created a new one. Yeah, display next shape. That should also start when the game starts. So this ready function holds everything that you want to start when you press the play button. So we definitely want to start our randomize, we want to start our sequence generation, we want to also display the next shape, and let's see, we don't necessarily need to, but let's just do it just to be safe. We can also hold our current index here to be 0. Yep, so let's try it now. Everything looks good. Let's save it and let's play. Okay, star. All right, so it works. It's just that sometimes it shows the same shape twice. Let's try it again and see. Star, cycle, triangle, triangle. Okay, so star, cycle, triangle, triangle. So once the sequence is over, it starts to print this. Let's try it again and see. Star, 1, box, triangle. So 2 stars, box, and a triangle. So you can just come 1, 2, box, triangle, and you would have won the game. So yeah, I think this works perfectly. Maybe in the next video I might add a way that it doesn't use the same image twice, or would have some kind of indicator that would show, hey, this is one image, this is another image. But I think the best way to go about it would be to have different images instead of the same image. It might get confusing because you don't know when it's the next image. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Alright, so welcome back, and today we're going to continue from where we stopped last time, and let's get right into it. So it's our shape pattern game. Good. So the last time when we play the game, okay, we see that nothing, okay, so it changes the shapes and everything, and it's working perfectly. So for now, I want to make a small change. I don't want the same shapes to show each time, because it makes it difficult to know if the shapes are changing or not. So we're going to make sure that every sequence is unique. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to we're going to change the algorithm of our generate sequence to make sure that every sequence is unique. So let's just clean everything here. We don't need this for now. We don't need this formula. And we'll just say something like if the length is greater than the shapes, the size of the shapes. So this is just for error checking, in case the length is greater than the actual size which we gave it to be 4. If it's greater than 4, then it means there's an error, and it should not it should basically stop the game. Print error, length is too, let's just say something like length is too much. Good. And then we'll return back to the game. Nice. So we'll create a variable called let's call it shuffled shapes, and it would be equal to shapes dot duplicate. Nice. So duplicate is an inbuilt function in Godot. What it does is that it makes sure that every sequence is different, so it doesn't use the same shape per sequence. Yeah. So then we say shuffled shapes dot shuffle. Then now we take the shape sequence would now be equals to the shuffled, where is it? Oh, sorry. Shuffled shapes. Then slice that and take only the first one in the length. So this would just for error checking to make sure that the size is not bigger than 4. This is to make sure that each item in the sequence is unique and not the same. So if it uses triangle once, it won't use it again, something like that. And this is to slice and always take the first one and attach it to the shape sequence. So let's play it and see. Cycle, box, star, triangle. Let's stop it again and try star, box, triangle, circle. Nice. So you can see that it never uses the same shape twice. Okay, so next now we are going to code in the player input, so how to handle that. So first off, before we forget, let's just create two variables. One of them would contain the player sequence. So we have one that contains the shape sequence. We have another one that contains the player sequence. So it compares both of them. If they are the same, then you win the game. If they are not, then you've lost the game. So we have that, and we should also have a variable to check if it's time for the player to start selecting the shapes. So we'll call it is waiting for inputs, and it's always false when you start the game. Good. So now that we have this out of the way, let's save it, go back to our 2D and add some buttons to these shapes. So select the first one, add a child node, search for button, create. Same thing too for this, create, add a button here, create, add another button here, and create. Okay, so next now we have to make sure that the buttons, they cover up the required shapes, but let's just rename them first. This first one would be triangle button. This would be circle button. This would be square button, and this would be star button. Good. So let's take our triangle button and let's stretch it across the shape. So we're not actually clicking the shape, we're clicking on the button that represents the shape. So let's bring it like this so it doesn't touch this. Good. This is good. So now let's make it flat. Good. So this is button for the triangle. We'll do the same thing here. Let it engulf the circle. Make it flat. Same thing here. Oh wait. Yep. Good. Make it flat, and the same thing to here. Let's bring it close by. Okay, and we'll make it flat. Good. So let's save it. This is perfect. So all the buttons are there, though they don't do anything. Now let's play it and see. Okay, so they are working, though they don't do anything for now. So let's stop it. Okay, so next now we are going to go back to our script and let's play around with our player sequence. So we're going to create a function called let's just say check player sequence. Good. That basically says, hey, if the player sequence is equal to the shape sequence, then that means that it is correct and you should print, hey, you win, else print that you lost. So something like very simple, if the player sequence is equal, if the size of the player sequence, I don't know what's wrong with my keyboard today, is equal to the size of the shape sequence, then in that you should check if the player sequence is equal to the shape sequence. So we're doing two checks here. If the size is the same, so I selected the buttons 4 times, the shapes appears 4 times. If that is correct, then you should go and check, okay, fine, the actual shapes themselves, is it the same from the player sequence and the shape sequence? Okay, good. Then you print correct. You win the game. Oh, you won the game? Yeah, you won the game. Sorry about that. You won the game. Else, which means that it's not correct, print you are a loser. Good. You are a loser. Then, okay, maybe I'll create that later, but we should also have a function that would reset the game so you can go to the next round. So something called, let's just call it reset game function. Good. So we will now create the reset game function. Let's create that. Let's make it at the top here. Call it function reset game. Alright, so what this function will do, we just reset the game. So basically, resetting the game just means put everything back to 0. So the player sequence should be clear. Yeah, let's use clear. The current index, right? Let me check. The current index is 0, so it should go back to 0. The current index should be 0. The what else again? And its weighting should go back to false. Good. Then we also want the generate sequence to play out again. So generate sequence, call the generate sequence function and make sure that it generates 4 unique shapes. And then print something like, hey, new round. Sorry, I'm having so many typos today. New round has started. Okay, good. This is good. So let's save it. And now we will make connections between these buttons to the code. So just click on the triangle button, node unpressed, connect. Do the same thing for the circle button, unpressed, connect. Okay, good. Now next we'll attach our scripts to each button. Okay, so let's attach scripts to our buttons. We'll go to the first triangle button and let's say something like if it's waiting for input is true, which means that it's waiting for the player input, then append this shape to the player sequence. We'll give this one shape of index 0 and then we'll check the player sequence. So quick tip here, it has to be the same exact sequence with the shapes here. So if you look here, 0 is triangle, circle button, circle is 1, box is 2, and star is 3. If not, it wouldn't be able to actually identify which shapes is which, because Godot or coding in general doesn't really see this. What it sees is this. So you have to create a sort of workaround, workaround around that. So just paste this here, paste this here, and paste this here. So this is 0, this is 1, 2, and this is 3. Good. Save it. And then one last thing, we go here to our display the next shape, and we set our is waiting for player input to be equals to true. So we have to set it to be true here, because after you're done showing the sequence of shapes, then you have to wait for the player input, stop displaying the sequence. Good. So let's save it and let's play it and see. So keep an eye out for here. Oh, sorry, I didn't see the sequence. Okay, let's fail it and see. You're a loser. And I still didn't see the next one. Oh my god. Let's fail it again and see. Failed. Circle, box, star, triangle. Circle, box, star, triangle. Correct, you won the game. Hey, new box, circle, star. Triangle, box, circle, star. Correct, okay. Triangle, box, circle, star. Triangle, box, circle, triangle, star. Box, circle, triangle, star. Okay, yeah. So this is very perfect. I did not expect it to go as smooth as it is going right now. So yeah, this is the basic loop of the game. So next up, we'll be focusing more on design. Like right now, it looks very boring. Not a lot of colors. Some of these shapes are very bad. You should also have like a score, something around here, like a scoreboard, where it shows, hey, this is your score, and with each round we should try to increase the number of sequences, not just 4. Maybe in the next round it would be 5, next round it would be 6, or maybe after every 3 rounds it would increase the number of shapes by 1. Therefore you have to also increase this. Then we'll probably add some colors here and there. Then we'll definitely add a home screen, or should I say a start menu, where it shows, hey, start the game, options, and exit. Just a lot of beautification before we get to the final part, which is to upload it to either Google Play Store or Apple Store. I guess it would be easier to upload it to the Google Play Store, but we'll see when we get there. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you all so much for watching my videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Hello and welcome back. So today we are going to continue from where we stopped, and this would be part 6 of the Making a Mobile Game series. So let's open up our shape pattern. So for today we are going to focus on the main menu. So we're going to have a simple main menu that has 3 buttons: start, options, and exit. So when you click on the start button, it goes to the main game, which is this, and the exit button would exit the game. So first off, we are going to create a new scene. So let's go here, plus other node. So when creating UI, it's best to use what is called a control node as the parent tree of your scene. So this is the control, and create it. So control node gives you a lot of controls for your UI. So let's switch to our 2D. Good. Okay, this is our full phone view. Then under the control node, let's add a texture 2D or texture react. Yeah, so this texture react is going to contain the background that we will eventually decide. So but for now we're just going to use a solid color. So let's rename these so we can understand better. Let's call this main menu, and this would be background. My hands are very slippery today. Okay, background. Yeah, so let's go to our background. Texture will be new canvas texture. Good. Then we go down to our layout, transform. The size is okay, so we could just stretch it ourselves. So you could set the size and the position here, or you could just transform it yourself here. So just stretch it to fill the available space. You can eyeball it. Okay, good. That's good. Now I don't like this color, so let's look for a much better color. Theme, new theme, select the new theme. Then you come to visibility, modulate. Then here you can select what color you want. Let's go for this. I prefer this wine color here. Good. And that's it. So if we play it, oh sorry, so we have to save it first. So let's save it in our scenes, main menu, save. Good. So now let's play it. So this is what we see first. Good. Now next we are going to bring in our VBox, which would contain the 3 buttons. VBox container, so vertical is a straight line down, horizontal is a line that is well lying down. So but we want a VBox. Let's name it main menu, no, menu buttons. Yeah, menu buttons. Now inside this menu buttons we're going to have 3 buttons plus buttons. Good. Now let's make some changes to this first button here. We'll go to, let's look for the font size, which would be in theme, right? Or is it theme overrides? Yeah, so theme overrides here, fonts, font size. So you can select the type of font that you want if you have a font file. We would probably do that, maybe not in this video, but in a later video when we are focusing more on the aesthetics and design and art and everything. So let's make the font size, let's say 60. Good. Now that we have that, we just click on this and tap Ctrl D. So 1, 2, 3. Good. Now let's rename them. This would be the start button. This would be the options button. And finally, this would be the exit button. Good. Now start button, we go up, it will have a text of, well, start. Options button would have a text of options. And exit button would have a text of exits. Good. So now next we would bring our menu button here to the center, which is where I want it to be. But first of all, let's play it and see what it looks like. Okay, good. So start, options, and exit, all perfect. So now that we have that out of the way, let's click on our menu buttons, which is the parent of all our buttons here. Select the move tool and move it to the center. Let's just eyeball it. Good. Now let's play it and see. Ah, that's good. Good. So that's that. So next we would let's put a label control. So let's label control will contain the text that would be on top of here. So for us it would be shape pattern. click on the main menu, plus look for a label. Yeah, here it is, label, create. We have the label here. Let's just call it something that we can recognize. Game name. Good. Now let's set it to, for now, the name of our game is Shape Pattern. I know that this name is very generic, but this will have to do for now. So when we eventually want to put the game up on either Google Play Store or Apple Play Store, we'll have to look for a more fun name, should I say, name that is more acceptable for a game like this. So, but for now, we'll just have this. So Shape Pattern, and let's go and set the font size. So let me check, what was the font size of this previous one here? It was 60. So the label should be bigger than that. Let's make it 80. Good. Now let's switch back to our move tool and move it to the center. Now let's play it and see. Good. So shape pattern, start, options, exit. Good. So for now, well, these buttons, they look very lifeless. They're not doing anything. Let's give them some life. Yeah. And let's give them a job to do. So let's click on our main menu. Let's give our main menu a script. Plus add a script here. Main menu.gd, but we don't want to save it in our scenes. Let's move it to our scripts. And we open it here. Scripts, main menu.gd, create. Good. So let's save it. Nice. So what we're going to do is the start menu will take us to this here, and the exit menu would just exit the game entirely. So later on we'll figure out what to do with the options menu, where it would probably contain something like maybe the volume, difficulty, maybe how to play the game, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So let's click on our start button. As usual, you go to our node and go to pressed, then connect it to our control node. Then we'll do the same for our options, pressed, connect it, and last but not the least, we'll do it for our exit button, pressed and connect it. Good. So let's remove this, and let's remove this. So for now, our options button will be passed because we don't have anything that we want to put in there. But for the start button, what we can say is, hey, if we click on this start button, I want you to search in my tree and look for a control node named main. That's what we named our main game control main. Look for this main and launch it. So let's go here. We'll type get tree dot change to scene file. Oh, that's good. So it has autocorrect. So we'll just look for, not autocorrect, sorry, autocomplete. So we'll look for our main.tscn, and that's it. Then for our exit button, all we want is queue free. Again, queue free is very crude, so we'll probably have a much more correct way to do this, but queue free would have to do for now. And we'll save it. Now let's run the game. Shape pattern, option when done nothing. Exit. Let's exit the game. So I can't do anything, I can't click anything. Let's stop it. Now let's play it again. If we click on our start button here, it takes us directly to the game. Let's play it a bit and see. I can't remember the sequence. Let me fill it. I feel it. So star, box, triangle, circle. So star, box, triangle, circle. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, so yeah, that is it for today. We were successful in putting the buttons, and everything seems to be working as it should be. So next up, we'll probably be focusing on the options menu. So when you click on the options menu here, it takes you to another scene that would contain difficulty options and probably rules on how to play the game. And I think that's what I can think of for now, but probably in the next video I'll be able to think of more things to add in the options menu, probably volume button too. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, welcome back to part 6, or I think 7, of the mobile game series. So today we are going to focus on making a system where players can know if they win or they lose. So something like if the player wins the game, a green background or something would show, and then if they lose, a purple background would show. But the initial intention is to have some kind of beautiful like graphics that would show hey, you're the winner, or hey, you're the loser. But for now, we're just going to use these solid background colors. So green if you win, purple if you lose. And then secondly, we are going to implement a score system. So if you win, 1 point will be added to the score, and if you lose, a point will be removed from the score. So let's get into it. Let's open our Godot shape pattern game. So first off, let's transfer our 2 images to the Godot environment here. We're definitely going to transfer them to the art here. So let's move this here, pick these 2 and bring them here to arts. Okay, that's good. So, oh, where are they? They aren't here. Are they in scenes or are they in scripts? Oh, so they are in scripts. That was a mistake. So let's pick them and move them to the art here, and move this one to the arts. Good. So we have the lose background and we have the win background. Next, we are going to make a canvas layer. This canvas layer is going to hold the 2 backgrounds. So let's go to our main. Let's just close this one since we don't need it for now. Click on our main plus canvas layer. And let's name it win-lose UI. Good. Now inside this canvas layer, we are going to have our texture react. So that's 1, and then we'll create another one. So 1 for winning and 1 for losing. Let's rename this to win graphic, lose graphic. Good. Now let's move to we click on the win graphic, move to our inspector, and we just drag the win background here. Good. And go to the lose graphic, drag the lose background here. Good. And we can stretch it so that it will just take over the entire thing. And same thing for the win, stretch it so it will take over the entire thing. So it doesn't matter what the resolution of the phone is, it will just take over. Good. Now we go into our visibility and make it to be not visible and also not visible. So we don't want it to be visible unless the player wins or loses a game. So next, we are also going to need a timer that says this background should only last for 2 seconds, and then you can continue the game. So that's very simple. Just click on our main here, plus look for our timer, create it, and let's call it something like a reset timer. Good. So let's make it 2 seconds. And it's also one shot, and it doesn't auto start. So we only want it to show one bar winning or one bar losing. Good. So now we get to the fun part. So we have to code how this UI is going to behave. So let's go to our scripts. So first off, we are going to create a function that shows the win graphic or shows the lose graphic. If you can remember, we disabled the visibility here. Where is it? Yeah. So we want a way that the visibility will be enabled if you win or you lose the game. So first of all, let's tackle that. Let's go down here, or you know what? Let's put the function here. Yeah, where you can easily find it. Function, let's just call it show graphic. And the outcome is a string. I mean, you don't necessarily need to do this, but I just do it for clarity's sake. The outcome will be a string. And then inside here, we are going to make reference to our win graphic first. So it's inside our win lose UI win graphic. And then the sec will be visible. We want it to be visible. And then the outcome that we suggested at the top would be, let's just call it win. Same thing too for the second one. Let's just copy it so we don't need to do it again. Paste it, but this time it would be the lose graphic. And here the outcome would be lose. Let's make some space. Save it. Now, next we also want to work on the timer. So after 2 seconds, either if the player wins or loses, after 2 seconds, the win or lose graphic should stop showing. So in this graphic here, the win or lose graphic is visible. But after the timer, after 2 seconds has passed, it should not be visible anymore. So let's just create a function. I mean, that's the easiest way to do it. We'll create a function, or we don't even need to do that. We'll just come to our reset timer and connect it to our code. So click on reset timer, node on timeouts, connect it. Good. So function on reset timer timeouts. 2 things that it should do. It should make the win and lose graphic to become false. So let's just paste it here. If we still have, yeah. So but instead of this, just close it, equal to false. So if you don't know, I just copied the same code that was here, pasted it here so it will become false. And let's copy it again and do the same for the lose graphic. Good. Now after these two are done, then we can reset the game. I think we already created a function for reset game that resets the game back to how it was before, so you can play it again. Good. So this makes use of the timer. I think 2 seconds is okay to show the graphic. Good. So now that we have that, the last but the least thing that we have to do is to tell it when should it display the win or lose graphic. Well, we want it to display it when the player has won the game, and we want you to display the lose graphic when the player has lost the game. And the only place that we have that is here. No, in the check player sequence. Where is it? Yeah, check player sequence. So instead of printing, hey, correct. Oh, look, I spelled it wrong. Instead of printing, hey, you're correct. No, we don't want you to do that. We want you to show the win graphic. Which one? Show the win graphic. And then if you lose, show the lose graphic. Now we don't even need this reset timer, this reset game anymore here, because we already called it here. So once the timer is out, it will just reset the game. So instead, what we want it to do here is to start the timer. So we make a reference to the timer and say starts. Then we save it. Good. So I think that should be it. Let's see. Okay, yeah, we don't need this print anymore. Let's just remove it, or we can comment it out. Just comment it out. So the key to comment out a line like this is just Control and then the slash button. Then we don't need to print this anymore, and that should be it. So let's save it. Let's play the game and see. Let's start from the main menu. I like to start from here just to feel the completeness of the game. So we have our shape pattern and we click on start. Good. Triangle, circle, star, box. Triangle, circle, star, and box. Good. So green, meaning that you have one. Then box, star, triangle, star, circle. So let's lose now and see. Purple. Nice. Okay, so that's good. So we know that that is working perfectly. Now, next, which would be the last thing for today, we want to implement a score system that shows, what is your score. If you win, you get 1 point. If you lose, you lose 1 point. So that is that's relatively very simple. All you have to do is, let's go back to our main scene here. Go to the main plus, and then we look for a H box container. That's horizontal box, because we want the score to be here, not here, but we want it to be in a straight line. So score, and then the actual score that you get. So let's search for our H box. Create it, and inside this H box we're going to have 2 labels and another one. Good. So this label will just be called the score label, and this would be called score value, and this would be called score container. Wait, score container. Nice. So let's go to our score label inspector. Let's just type in score. Let's increase the text size to 50. Yeah, 50 should be good. Yeah, 50. And our score value would also be, we don't want to type anything yet, because we are going to be updating that using the script. So let's go to our theme overrides. Font size will also make it to be 50. Good. So let's click on our score container, and let's score container, move to, let's move it here. Not here. I guess here will be fine. Good. Now let's save it. Now next we go into our script, and as usual we use a function to just make things very clean and very easy. So we come here, let's create a function, call it increase score. Increase score. I probably need to get a new keyboard. It's not recognizing some of my inputs sometimes, but anyway, that's for later. So we call it increase score, and what it's just going to do is it will add 1 score. Score equals to plus equals to 1. Yep. And then reference to what? So we let's make a reference to our score value here. So it's in our store. No, let's start from the top. It's in our game UI. Inside our game UI, it should go to score container. Let's see if we can find it here. Okay, game UI slash score. We should find it, score container. That's weird. It can't. Why can't it can't find the path to this score container? Oh, I'm sorry. So it's my mistake. The score container, it's supposed to be under the game UI, which is where everything about the UI of the game is. So we just move this score container inside the game UI, so we know that it's part of it here. So let's just bring it down here to the bottom. Good. So now it should be all inside the game UI, right? No. Okay, so let's move it to the game UI inside here. Nice. So it's part of the game UI now. So if we just go, it should show up now. Game UI score container, score value. Good. Now take the text of that score value and make it to be equal to the score. Now, of course, it will show an error because there was something that we were supposed to do before we even did any of this, which is we have to determine what the initial value of the score would be every time you start the game, and it should be 0. So we go at the top here, we create a variable called score, and it will always be 0 when you start the game. Good. So now that we have, where is it? Okay, here we have a function that increases the score. We also need a function that decreases the score. So function, let's just call it decrease score. So it will be the same thing here, just minus. Just minus. Good. Save it. Now we put these two functions in where? In the place where that determines if you win or if you lose. So show the graphic if you win, show the graphic if you lose. But instead of doing this, we also want to show increase score if I win, and if I lose, decrease score. That's it. Very simple. Alright, so let's save it and try it out. Let's start from the main menu. Start here. Start. So box, star, circle, triangle. Box, star, circle, triangle. Green, and then 1. Good. Star, circle, box, triangle. So star, circle, box, triangle. Win should be 2. Good. Triangle, box, circle, star. So let's lose this one and see. This, lose. It should be 1. Nice. Nice. This is perfect. So we know that that is working perfectly. Good. So I think that would be it for today. Though I did notice something. Let's see if we can fix it quickly. If we play the main menu and we go to options. Okay. It seems like our options button is not being connected. Okay, maybe so in the, okay, yeah, that's because, sorry, that's my bad. That's because we haven't even done anything with the options button yet. So in the next video, we'll probably focus on the options button and just have something in there like maybe instructions on how to play the game and maybe a difficulty setting. Alright, so thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Good evening everyone, and welcome to the 8th video in the series. So today we are going to focus on adding a lives system. So you have 3 lives or 3 tries, and if you lose all 3 tries, you restart the game you lose your progress, you lose your score and everything that comes with it. And also we are going to add something to our options menu. So right now if you click on our options menu, it does nothing. And so we'll probably also add like a difficulty setting in there, though it won't do anything for now, but we'll just add the placeholder for now. So let's go into our shape pattern. Now first off, let's do something with our options menu. So right now if we open up our options menu, it does nothing. So let's fix that. First off, we are going to create a new scene. So let's go here. So it's going to be the same node as the main menu scene, which would be a control node. Let's rename it to options menu. Good. Next, we would bring in our texture react. So texture react will hold the background color. But before we even do that, let's go to our main menu and copy the color of this background. Let's click on the background, go to our modulate, and we'll copy this color here. Then let's go back here, bring in our texture react. Change it to, rename it to options background. Now come here to our texture, new canvas texture, and then go to our visibility, modulate, and paste the color code that we copied before. Press enter, and that is it. So now we can manually just stretch it to fill the entire screen. It doesn't really matter if it goes out of bound, because let's save it first so I can show you. It's a scene, so we'll save it in our scenes folder and we'll save it here. So now let's play it. It doesn't actually go out of bound here, it doesn't actually affect anything, so because of these black bars, but which we are going to fix this later on, because we don't want it to be having these black bars when we eventually play it on like a mobile phone. All right, so next let's add in a label here that just says options menu, or just say options. So come here, add in our label, and let's just say options. Let's see, options label. Then come here, we just type options. Then let's go down to change the size. I think 50 would be good. Yes, 50 is good. Okay, that's good. So now let's move it to the center here. So let's play it and see. Good, so options. Next, we would have like a small text here that just says, the basic instructions of the game. So in order to do that, let's just come here to our options, and we are going to add two things. We'll add our label, and then we'll add something called a rich text. You see what I mean? So plus, we have our label, and then we'll just call this our let's see, instructions. Then under this instructions, we'll add in our rich text label. So add that there. These instructions were supposed to add, oh yeah, so let's rename this to instructions label. Sorry about that. instructions label. Then in the text we'll write instructions, and we would also change the size to, let's give it 40. And let's come to here and we can just say, let's see, number 1 something. This is just to simulate like the instructions. Number 2 something. Number 3 something. This is just a placeholder for now, something. So later on when we are doing like cleanup, we can then actually put in the instructions for the game. So let's go into theme overrides, font size. Let's see, normal, this is, let me expand it so you can see normal font size. So let's just give it 40 and expand it. Oh wait, and expand it. Why should it be moving? Oh, I seem to have made some mistakes. So I combined the rich text to be inside the, as a child of the instructions label, but it's supposed to just be on its own. Sorry about that. Let's just bring it down here so they are separate. So instructions will be here and this would be here. Let me just put it like this. So we have the options menu, background, options label, which is this, instructions, which is this, and then the rich text, which is all this here. Good. Now next we're going to have another label, and then next to it would be like a drop down menu of difficulty options like easy, medium, and hard. So first off, we're going to click on our our options menu, and then bring in let's see, a H box would be good for that. H box container, and we'll just say, let's just call it difficulty container. Difficulty container, and then inside this container we're going to have two things. We'll have a label, and then we would have something called an options button. This is why I love Godot. Everything that you're looking for is a node, so you just pick it up and drag it to wherever you want. So this label, let's just call it difficulty label. And this options button, you can just call it difficulty option. So difficulty option. Good. So difficulty label, let's just put our text to be I don't know, choose difficulty. Good. And as usual, we'll change the font size to, let's say 30. Okay, yeah, 30 is good. And then we have the difficulty options. So under the difficulty options, we have something called items, where you can add in what items are going to be inside the drop down menu. So we would go to the items, add elements 1, 2, 3. So we just make this to be easy. This is where we set the text, easy, normal, and hard. So as you can see, they automatically have an ID. So we can later play with them, like, oh, if ID is equal to 1, change the game, maybe increase the speed and make the game harder or something like that. So, but this is okay for now. Then let's move our difficulty container here. Good. So now let's save it and let's play the game and see. Good. So we have our options, instructions, something, something, something. Then choose difficulty. If you click on it, you see easy, normal, and hard. Good. So you can pick it, easy or hard. And finally, last but not the least, we will connect our options button to this page, and we should also make another button that will take us back to the main menu. So let's just bring in a random button for now. See, button, and we'll just call it back, or back button. Good. And this will just be back. And let's increase the size to 30. Good. Now let's zoom in. Let's move it where we can see it properly, like here. Good. Now let's go. Let's save it. Let's play it and see first, so it shows clearly. Yeah, so we can have it here. So let's go back to our main menu, our options menu. Okay, it's already connected because of this signal. So let's go to our script, and on options button pressed, we wanted to do this exact same thing here, but instead it would go to the options menu. Save it. Now we'll do the same thing for the options menu, but this time it would go back to the main menu. So back button. Also, we actually have to make a script for the options menus first. So options menu plus, attach a script to it. Scenes. So we don't want it to save in the scenes. Let's save it in our scripts. Options menu, open and create. Good. Save it. Let's go back to our options menu here. Click on the back button and node pressed. So connect. Now when you press the back button, it should do the exact same thing, but this time it will go back to the let's see, is this it? It should be the main menu. Good. Save it. So now if we play it, now let's see what it will look like. We have our shape pattern, start, options, option and exit. If you click on options, it takes us here. Select the difficulty, normal, you're done. Go back, it takes you back here. Good. Options, go back, it takes you back here. Press on start and you start the game. Good. Okay, so now that that's done, let's move on to the second part of our video today, which is to add the lives counter or lives meter. So we are just going to have 3 lives for now. If you lose all 3, the game restarts. So let's go to our main here. So the lives meter will probably be here. Lives, 3 lives. So let's, first of all, as usual, we'll add in our canvas layer to our game UI. So we'll add a canvas layer and we'll name it, let's see, lives, yeah, lives layer. Good. Now under this lives layer, we're going to have a horizontal, no, sorry, H box, I mean. And we'll just like name this lives container. Let's remove this lives container, and then inside this lives container we're going to have 2 labels. 1, Control D, 2. We'll name this the lives label, and this would be, the second one would be the lives value. Good. So in the lives label, go to inspector, let's just name it to be lives. And as usual, we set the font size to be 50. Come here to the value, and this time we'll make it to be 3. So it always starts with the value of 3, as in 3 lives. Then we come down to our font size and set it to be 50. Good. Now let's select everything and move it down here. Good. So now let's play it. Let's save it and play it and see. Okay. So we have our score and we have the lives here. Good. Now let's move on to the fun part, which is the coding. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to set our variable for lives, which would always be equal to 3. Then we are going to create a function that references the lives value here. So each time you lose a life, it updates the value of this lives value, which is 3 here, and it minuses 1 from it. So let's just go down. Let's make it here. Function. Let's just call it update lives value. Let's say display. Good. And then all it does is that it makes a reference to the lives value, which is in the game UI. Yeah, lives value. And then it takes that text and changes it to the current value of lives. Good. That's good. Next, now we are going to create a function for decreasing life. But probably let's make it close to this. Let me see, increase score, decrease score. Let's make it close here, close by. So function, let's call it I don't know, decrease life. Decrease lives. Now inside here we just say lives minus equal to 1. After it has done this, then it will go and update. It will call the update lives display, which would take the value of lives minus 1 and update the current lives value in that other function. Then, okay, let's see. Okay, that's it for now. Next, we want to make a function. Let's say we'll call the function game over. So what happens when the lives become 0 from 3? So we have to also tell it that. We'll go a function, let's just call it game over. Now in this game over, just to be sure that it works, let's print game over. Or print game over. Next, we want to tell it that our lives is equal to 3. Then let me see. If it's game over, the lives go back to being equal to 3, and then your score becomes 0. Good. And then we call the update lives display, which would so let's make a reference to, also we have to make a reference to the score value, because we are changing 2 things now. We're changing the lives back to 3 and we're changing the score to 0. So let's make a reference to our game UI. We're looking for our score value. All right, game UI slash score container. Yeah, so score value dot text, small letter, equal to the string, and then take the score. Good. Then we reset the game. So this game over, what it does, it prints game over to the terminal. Then the lives go back to being equal to 3, so you can start over. Your score is 0 because you lose all your progress, and then it updates your lives meter. Then it also updates your score and it resets the whole game. So then we go back to our decreased lives and say if lives is less than or equal to 0, then call the game over function. Good, that's good. So now the final part would be to tell it where should it call the decreased lives function. So what should happen in the game that the game would need to call the decreased life function. So you would have to lose first in order for the decreased life function to call. So here it decreases the score and it will also call the decrease lives function. Good. So when you lose, it shows the lose graphic, it decreases the score and it decreases your lives. And I think that's about it. So let's try it and see. Let's start from our main menu, just so we can feel good about ourselves. So let's say options, everything looks good. Back. Now let's start the game. So our lives are 3. So now let's lose a game and see what happens. Okay, yeah. So our lives become 2 and our score is -1. So we would have to probably make that up. Let's see. Lives is 1. Now let's lose. So if we lose to 0, this should reset back to 0. Good. So now it works perfectly. It works perfectly. So we have 3 lives, and if you lose it, you lose your score, and it resets back to 0. So yeah, I guess this is what we have for now, and in the next video we'll probably focus on a way to keep the high score. So if we go here, options, so we'll probably have like a current high score, or if we want to be more advanced, you could kind of compete with your friends and you could see, well, what's the current high score now. So yeah, that's what we'll probably work on in the next video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, good afternoon everyone, welcome back. So let's get right into it. So first of all, what I want to do for this, I think this is the 8th or 9th video. I usually don't keep too much track of the numbers, but I think what I want to do is I want to remove the difficulty setting here, because I noticed I thought about something. There's no point having a difficulty option when the game gets difficult as you play it. So maybe if you play like 5 levels, then the next 5 levels will be different from the previous one, and so on and so forth. So there's no point in having a difficulty option. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just delete it. I think this is how we're going to be making changes to the game as we think of more better solutions to any feature that we add to it. So let's go to our difficulty container and we just delete it, because there's no point in having that, and let's save it. Good. So now that we have that out of the way, let's now go to our next feature that we want to add. So we want to add, as we discussed last week, we want to add our high score. So we want a way that we can see what our current high score is in the options menu, at least for now. So first of all, we want a way that we can go back to the options menu from the main game here. So that's very simple. We just add a button. This is just a feature that we'll add for now, so later we'll add a more effective way of doing this. So we just click on our main, add a button, just name this button back, then increase the size to, let's say, 40. Good. So we have a back button now. Then as usual, we'll add our an unpressed to the back button, connect it. Then we will just say when this button is pressed, I want you to go back to the let's say the main menu. So get tree, change scene to file, go to the main menu, and we save it. So when we play it and we go back, it takes us here. Then we can exit. Okay, that's good. So now let's focus on our high score. Definitely we want our high score to show up in the options menu here. So as usual, we'll have a horizontal we would have a horizontal box container that would hold both labels. So let's just look for our H box. We'll create that, and inside let's rename it actually to our high score container. Good. Then inside this high score container, we'll add two labels, 1 and Control D, 2. So we'll call this the high score label, and this would be the high score value. Good. So let's name this to high score, which would be a size of 40, and the value also the same thing too, would be the size of 40. Now we don't want to set anything here, since the value will be set dynamically based on what we have here, the score. Good. So let's save it. Now let's use our move tool here and move it down here. So we have high score. Then save it. Good. Now that we're done with that, the next thing would be the code. So now we want to connect this options menu to this main menu. Now there are two things that we can do. We can either go to our options menu script here, then make a connection, or let's say make a connection to the main menu, then use that variable to create the code. Or we can create a script and make that script to be a global script. So a global script means that everybody can access it. So we go to our scripts. Let's use that method because we are still going to have other things that we want the game to be able to access. We want to be able to save our game, to be able to get different data from different points. So we would need this, and then we want to be able to like minimize the game, pause it, and all these other things. So a global script is very important for that. So let's just go to our script here, create new script. As usual, we'll just call it global, let's say global data. Then we want to see a script global, and we create. Good. So this is here, global data. As you can see, it's empty and everything is good. So we would create a variable called score, and that score will be equal to 0 initially. That is all that we want to hold in this global data for now. Then right now it's just a script. So now let's make it to be global, meaning everybody can access it. So we go to our project settings, auto load, then we click here, scripts and global. Good. Open. Then we add it. So now this script has become global. So each time that we close our Godot and we open our app, this is the first thing that will load before all other things load. So we close it and save. So now we can access this script anywhere we want. So next we go to our main here, and we go to the place that deals with our score, which should be somewhere here. Where is it? Yeah, so increase score. Yeah, so we don't really need to do it for our decrease score because we don't need to know we don't need to know the lowest score. At least that's what I think for now. But we need to always know our high score. So as the high score changes, as our score changes, the high score changes. So we just come here, we type a very, very simple script. If the score is greater than, then we have to make a reference to the score that is available in the global data. So global data dots, I think it's called score. Yeah, if it's higher than that, then I want the global data dot score to be equal to score. That's all. So as you can see, this variable named global data is not really what we named our script here. If you go to project settings, auto load, this is the name that you're going to use here, global data, not this one. So good. Now that we have that, we now have to tell it that it should change the value of, it should change the high score value to the value of the score here. And we're going to do that in our options menu. So in order to do that, as usual, we would create a new function, call it update high score, and this function will be called each time the high score is, well, higher than the current high score. So let's make a reference to our high score value, which is high score. Yeah, here you go, high score value. Then take the text and it will be equal to the, convert it to a string, the global data dot high score. Oh, it's actually global data dot score. Good. And we save it. Then we bring our function here to the ready function. So each time the game starts, it should check this first, update the high score before it does anything else. And we save it. Okay, just for clarity's sake, because sometimes we can confuse this score with the actual score that is here. So let's go to our global data script and change it from score to high score. High score, then we save it. Come here. Where's the script? No, here. Yeah, so change here to high score. Save it. Then go to our main and change it to high score. Then high score. Good. Then save it. Good. So now when we go, let's click from our main menu here. Let's play it and see. So if we open our main menu, we go to options, we'll see that currently our high score is 0. Let's go back. Let's start the game. Box, circle, triangle, star. Box, circle, triangle, star. Okay, so that is 1, star, triangle, box, circle. So star, triangle, box, circle. That is 2. So now if we go back to our options, we will see that our current high score is 2. So now we have successfully transferred data from one scene to another, and also keeping that data in the game. But now I think if we exit the game and play it again, it would go back to 0, which is not what we want. So hopefully, I think in the next video we will try to, well, I guess we'll focus on that later, but in the next video we will try to make some aesthetic changes and maybe try to add in some more buttons and some more scenes. Hello everyone, welcome back. Apologies, it's been a while since I uploaded a video. I just had a lot going on, and part of that was I was trying to see how I can improve the quality of my videos, because if I'm going to do this long term, I have to find ways to always improve each and every video that I put out there. not just for myself but also for those that are watching my videos. So I spent a lot of time researching maybe if I could improve better graphics or better audio quality and so on and so forth. So that is why I've decided to just take a break for 2 or 3 days while I come up with better ways to improve my videos. So let's just jump right into what we're going to do today. I just thought I should give you guys a rundown of what was going on and why I took quite some time to upload this video. So today what we're going to do is that we're going to work on the difficulty setting. So in the last video we removed the difficulty setting because there was no point having it where you could increase the difficulty. I thought it would make sense to make it dynamic, so maybe after winning like 2 or 3 rounds it increases the difficulty and so on and so forth. So today what we're going to do is we're going to implement a system whereby if you win a round or if you win 3 rounds, it increases the number of pictures that it's not number of pictures, the number of shapes that show by 1. So if you win 3 rounds, it shows 4 pictures. If you win another 3, it shows 5 pictures. Yeah, so it increases the pictures or the shapes by 1. And if you lose your lives 3 times, it goes back to the beginning. So it's kind of like you have to be careful not to lose your streak. But it's quite a long process, so I probably have to break this video into 2 parts. So let's start by going to our main here. So first of all, we are going to create 2 variables that will hold 2 data. One will hold the number of times that we've won a round, and one will hold the number of times that we lose a round. So we can call it var let's say consec wins equals to 0, and create another one for losses, var loss count equals to 0. Good. So one will hold our wins and one will hold our losses, so we can track them. Good. So next, now we come to our generate sequence length. So this is where we put in our algorithm or our code that would determine how many shapes would show based on how many times we win. So we might have to do a lot of changes here. First off, we would let's say we want to start with 3 shapes first. So let's say var base length would be equal to 3. So instead of setting the length here, which is 4, the length will always be dynamic, so you don't need to hard code it to 4 here. So let's remove 4, and we don't also need this length. Good. And okay, we'll also remove the 4 here, and I think that's the only place where there's 4. Yeah, good. So now the base length will always be 3, and then we have to tell it by how many times should it increase the length of the sequence. So 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on and so forth. So let's call it var sequence sequence length. It would be equals to the base length plus the number of consecutive wins. So this would increase the sequence length based on the wins. Then, as usual, I always love to add checks, so to make sure that each time we start the game, it always starts with 3 shapes. So let's just call it sequence length would always be, the max would always be 3. Sequence length, and then it will take the value of 3. So this is just like a check, especially with Godot. You need to do a lot of checks to make sure that everything works according to plan. Good. So now that we have this code here, we no longer need this because they do the same, they have the same purpose. So let's just remove this. They are both just checks. Then we can change what's wrong. Okay, here we can change it to, instead of length, we'll just change it to sequence length. Good. Exactly. So next now, regarding this code, there's a reason why I didn't clean it at first, because I wanted to explain what it does. So as you know, we only have 4 images for now, and we want to write our code in a way that the images increase by 1 each time you win a round, or you win 3 times. But we only have 4 pictures, so it's limited. So we have to write the code in a way that, okay, if you have exhausted all 4 pictures, you can go back and reuse some images. Yeah. So this will not allow our code to do that, so we have to remove it. Then we would use a range function. So what we want is that we don't want it to use the same image twice. If not, you get confused on which image is the actual the one that you're supposed to be focusing on. So if it uses like a box, it won't use box again. So it will be like box, triangle, star, triangle, star. So it won't be the same shape consecutively. So for that, we can use a range. So let's go with using a for loop. So for I in range, using the sequence length. Now we'll use the formula there was a formula that we used before to select our to generate our sequence, which was so we just paste that there. Let's just call it new shape. Will be equal to the shuffle shape. If you remember it, I think it's in the first or third video, but let's use it for now. Rand I percentage shuffled shapes dot size. So basically what this does is that it picks, the simple version is that it picks a random shape. That's all. It just picks a random shape based on the shuffled shape size. So you have 4 images and it picks a random image based on those 4 images. That's all it does. So next now we want to write our code that would avoid direct duplicates. So let's say while the shape sequence size is greater than 0, which is we have something inside the shape sequence, and the shape sequence dot size minus 1 equal to new shape. So I know that you are a little confused, but let me just explain what this does. This while loop, it checks for 2 things: as long as the shape sequence is not empty, and as long as the previous shape is not the same as the new shape. And if you remember, we take the new shape, where is it? We take the new shape as the new sequence that is generated randomly. So as long as it's not the same as the previous one, then you are allowed to use it, as you can see from this place. So we have a variable called new shape that takes in a random, this is a random shape. What I said before, this code randomizes the shapes. Now as long as the previous shape is not the same as the next shape, in the new shape list, then you are allowed to use it. So let's write in our code. As long as that is true, then the new shape would be equal to the new randomized shape. So new shape can be equal to the shuffled shapes. Same code that we used to randomize the shapes. Shuffle shapes dot size. Good. Then after you're done with that, you should append this new shape into, well, you should append the shape sequence into the new shape, if that makes sense. So once you're done with everything, take that new shape sequence that you have now, put it in the shape, and then show it inside the screen. So yeah, I know it looks quite complicated, but it took a lot of research and searching to find the formula that I can use for that. I'm sure there are much shorter and easier ways, but this is what I could find, and probably or hopefully in the future we'll search for something that is much more simpler, should I say, or easier to understand. Good. So let's save it. Alright, so next now we want to make use of our consecutive wins. So what should happen that would increase the number of our consecutive wins? If you look up here, our consecutive wins is 0. So something should happen that would increase our consecutive wins, which would be if we win a round. So let's go to our check player sequence. So if the player sequence is equal to the shape sequence, you win. After you win, we should also increase our consecutive sequence by 1. That's all. Let's save that. Good. Now that we have coded in our consecutive wins, we also have to code in our loss. Good. So as usual, we'll just use a function. Let's use a function to make it easier for us to understand. So we'll have a function called let's say reset consec wins. Good. So when this function is called, consec wins goes back to 0. Then we'll create another function that would check the loss. So if our loss is greater than or equals to 3, everything should be reset. So let's just call it check loss. Check loss streak. Let's use names that would remember what they actually represent. Good. So let's say our loss count will be plus equal to 1. Then if the loss count is greater than or equals to 3, then it should be game over. And then after game over, I want you to reset the wins to back to 0. Else, if it's not true, just reset the game. Let's save it. Good, so I think that's about right. Let's just look at everything. Hopefully there's nowhere that we have to declare our consecutive wins or losses. Let's see. Let's check this generate sequence. So it takes in a base length of 3. It randomizes the shape based on 3. Shuffle shapes. It duplicates it. It shuffles it, and it should also clear it, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So let's add this shape sequence dot clear. Good. So I guess this is self-explanatory. After you're done with everything, you clear the shape sequence and then wait for the next round. If not, it just keeps on storing the previous shape that it has generated, and it's not good for your memory. So just clear it before you do any other thing. And yeah, so let's save it, let's play it and see what we get. Okay, you know what, let's stop it for now. So 3 might be a bit much for now, but I just want to test and see. Let's use 1 round. So after 1 win, it should increase the number of shapes. I don't want to have to wait 3 times before I see if the shape actually changes. So let's play it and see. So circle, star, box. This is circle, star, box. Okay. Box, circle, star, triangle. Box, circle, star. Uh-oh. Lost. Triangle, box, star, box. Triangle, box, star. Okay. So we can see that it's only taking in 3 inputs. Let's try again and see. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so it's just taking in 3 inputs regardless of how many shapes are being shown. So let's fix that. Okay, let's see. Let's start from the beginning. Extends no 2D. Everything is okay. Okay, I guess, yeah, it's this place. So I was trying to, the base length should be 3. What I wanted to change was that instead of winning 3 times, I can only win once. I need to go to the next one, but I guess I didn't need to implement that yet. So even with this, I don't need to. If I wanted to win 3 times, I just do divided by 3. But since I don't have it, so I just have to win once and would go to the next picture. So let's try it and see. Hopefully it works. So box, star, box. Good. Box, star, triangle, circle. Box, star, triangle, circle. Good. Circle, box, star, circle, triangle, box. Oh wow. Circle, box, star, circle, triangle. Oh no, I've lost. Circle, box, circle, box, triangle. Circle, box, triangle. Okay, now it's getting too long. Box, star, triangle, circle, triangle, circle. Box, star, circle, triangle, circle. Oh no. So if I lose, it should go back to, let's see. Yeah, I can't memorize this. Okay, it's long. Oh no, I've lost. But yeah, this is basically what we wanted to achieve. So after each and every win, it should increase the difficulty of the game a bit, and based on your skill, we'll see where you're able to reach, and that will be your high score. Okay, so this is good. So in the next video, we'll focus more on trying to put it back to, instead of just 1 win, it should be 3 wins, and then we will move it to when you lose all your lives, everything goes back to the beginning. Everything resets and you lose your streak. So thank you all so much for watching, and apologies again for taking so long with this video. I had so many things to do, and as if you're going into YouTube, you have to really focus and find ways to always make your videos to be better than those that are out there, and I will continue to strive to do so. Okay, and I'll see you guys next time. Okay, hello everyone, welcome back. Today is going to be a very short video. We are just going to implement what we couldn't do in the last video. which is when you lose your life, when you lose all 3 of your lives, then everything resets. The sequence resets back to 3, and so on and so forth. But before I do that, there's something I usually do, which is when we are getting close to ending the series. I do something called a code cleanup. So I can maybe like remove this print statement since I no longer need it. I can rearrange some functions. Maybe some functions will come down here while some will come on top. Yeah, so I think I'll probably do that off screen, because I realized that in one of my previous videos I did everything live, and it seemed like the reception was not very good. Not many people liked it, so I'll probably try to do this off screen and then I'll come back to it. Okay, so welcome back. So this is what I have for now. I just moved every variable that I had scattered around back to this top place. So we have our variable definition here, and everything that is here is a variable, a list, and also a boolean value. Then we come to our ready function. So our ready function contains everything that we want the game, everything that we want to start with the game. So display next shape, current index, displaying sequence. So you are free to pause it wherever you want, so you can maybe readjust your code, or you can just copy the code from the GitHub repository. So these are the changes that I made, just cleaned up the unnecessary comments and everything, but it's basically the same code separated. So we have our reset, our check player sequence. We just move the function apart so we can tell them apart by creating spaces between them. Move this function down, and also this one. So we have our display next shape. Everything is okay. Everything is just the same. I just moved it around. And that's it. Good. Update lives, increase score. Everything looks good. And also the indexes are okay. So 0 for triangle, 1 for circle, and all that. Good. So now let's test it and see. Hopefully everything is working correctly. Let's play it. So circle, star, circle, circle, star, circle. Good. Triangle, star, circle, star. Good. Triangles. Oh, I've lost it. Okay, I've missed it. But thankfully everything is working perfectly. So the main reason for today's video, we are going to change it. So instead of just one win, you need to win 3 times before it moves on to the next level. So as you can see right now, we have to win only once before it goes to the next one. So we want to win 3 times, then go to the next one, and then so on and so forth. Good. And thankfully it's a very simple process. So all we have to do is come to our consecutive wins here inside our generate sequence function, and we just divide it by 3 wins, which is what is required to advance to the next level. So instead of adding it by number of wins, it divides it by 3, which is our base number of wins that you need to progress to the next level. So now let's play it and see. So star, circle, box, star, circle, box. That's a win. Circle, star, triangle. So circle, star, triangle, triangle, circle, star, triangle, circle, star. So that's my 3rd win. So the next one now should be 4 shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. That's all. That's all I needed to see. Then next now, what I want is when I lose a game, I want to lose the game based on the number of lives that I have. So right now I have 3 lives. If I lose the game 3 times, it resets everything back to 3 sequences. So let me show you what it does right now when I play it. Triangle. Okay, wait. Before we can, just so that it will be faster, let's set it back to 1 win. So you see what I'm talking about, and play. So box, circle, box, box, circle, box. That's 1 win. So now it should be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I lose 3 times here, it should go back to only showing 3. So let's lose 1. Let's lose again. Okay, so now 1, 2, 3, 4, which is not what's supposed to happen. It's supposed to set back to 3. So in order to fix this, we go to our game over. Yeah. So the main variable that is being used to calculate if we need to increase our sequences by 4 or 5 is our consequence. So now what we want is that when we get to the game over screen, our consecutive wins should go back to 0, which means our sequence is set back to 3. So all we have to do is just say consec wins equals to 0, and we save it. So now, even if we, let's say box, circle, triangle, box, circle, triangle, that's our 1 win. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now let's lose 3 times, and it should go back to 3 sequences. And the last one. Good. So now 1, 2, 3. That's all. And there you have it. So I think that will be all for today's video. I just wanted to say that we are almost done with the series, and we're almost done with the game. I mean, but that was so fast. So right now we'll probably be focusing more on aesthetics, so like designs, logos, colors, backgrounds, and so on and so forth. So we probably have just a little bit more of coding to do. I'm thinking of adding like a time limit, so you don't have like unlimited time to select all the shapes. But let's see, probably in the next video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Hello everyone, welcome back. So let's get right into it. I just want to say that today might be the last technical aspect of the game, that is to say anything that has to do with coding or anything should I say technical will be done today, because we are basically done with the game, if I'm following my notes correctly. So today I want to add a feature where the game increases speed each time you win. So speed in the sense that the way or the speed at which these shapes show up, they increase. So this is just to add like a layer of difficulty to the game, and I believe from here on out that's it. So it will just be more of aesthetic changes, you know, like the logos, like the images, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's get right into it. So first off, we are going to create 2 variables. One variable that will hold the base speed that the game will start with, and another variable that will hold the speed that, okay, it shouldn't go below this, because I don't want it to get to a point where it'll be so fast that you cannot see what shape is being shown, and it won't be enjoyable at that point. Yeah. So let's go down, let's just create it in our variables here. Let's call it, the first one would be base speed. We'll set it to, let's say, 1 second. Yeah. And then the other one would be the minimum speed, and then we'll set it to, let's say, 0.2 seconds if it's not too fast. We'll test it and see. If it's too fast, we'll increase it, sorry. So yeah, this is good. Next, now let's go down here. Where is it? So okay, consec wins. Yeah, so I've removed, so I'm sure in your code it would be something like this, but I'm going to remove this for now, so that we can we don't have to wait for 3 wins. We can just, you know, we can see if our code is working or not. We don't have to like win 3 times to see it for now though. So next, now let's go down and create a function. Now what this function will do, this function will be a mathematical function. Let me increase the size of this. Yes. So this function will be a mathematical function, sorry. So what it does is that it will take the minimum speed and the base speed, and it will times it by the consecutive wins. So based on that speed, it would reduce the, so how would I say, it would increase the speed, yes, of the shape display sequence based on the calculation that it does. So I found this calculation online and I adjusted it to my own code. Let's create a function. Let's name it adjust speed. Now here, let's create a variable called speed changer. God, no, it's two. Yeah, speed changer is okay. Speed changer will be equals to the max of the minimum speed. That is, this minimum speed is there to say, okay, don't go below this. Then base speed always start at this times POW. So POW is like raised to the power of. So take the minimum speed, the base speed, and times it by let's use 0.8 for now. So 0.8 is like the difference. So always change by this difference each time I win. Then floor of consecutive wins. So what this floor does is that it removes the decimal points. So let's say you get something like maybe after this calculation you get something like 1.45. well, it will not consider this. It will just take this, so 1. So this ensures that every time that it does the calculation, it's always one value that it gets, just to avoid errors. Good. So after you've done that, I want you to take the sequence timer, which is the timer that we use to calculate the speed at which the shapes show. So take that sequence timer, take the wait time. The wait time is the time between each shape showing, and change it to whatever value the speed changer comes up with. And just so that we can know if it's working, let's print it so we can see if the speed is actually changing. Print something like current speed. Let's pick a space. Current speed is equal to the speed changer. Good, let's save that. So this here is just a formula to reduce the speed after every win. Yes. So when we're done, I also have to come here and do like something like this to make it to be every 3 wins. But for now, let's just make it to be every 1 win so that we can test if the code is actually working. Okay. Good. Then next now, I want to add it to the reset counter. That is, if we lose all 3 lives, it should go back to the base speed. Yeah. So let's just do that before I forget. Let's look for our reset. It should be somewhere here. Reset something. No, not this one. Reset consecutive wins. Reset consecutive wins. It should be somewhere here. I probably have moved it. Okay, so let's create a function. Yeah, there it is. I was wondering where it was. So reset consecutive wins. So let's just say when this happens, I also want you to take the sequence timer, take the wait time and set it back to the base speed. That's if I lose all 3 lives. So let's see here. Yes. So if my loss count is greater than 3, that's I've lost all my lives, reset it, game over, and reset the game. So once it calls this function, it reduces the speed back to the base speed. So in a way, like, oh, you've lost your streak or something like that. So let's save it. Now, lastly, we created a function but we did not set where the function should be called. We created a function called adjust speed. And where do we want this adjust speed to occur? We want it to occur after it has selected the shape for the sequence. So let's just call it here, adjust speed, and we save it. So let's test it out and see. Let's play. So let's go in first, box, circle, triangle. So you can see the speed here is 1. So box, circle, triangle, F1. Speed should decrease at 0.8. Sorry, I did not see that. So let's lose on purpose and see. If we lose, it shouldn't reduce the speed, but if we lose 3 times, it should go back to 1. So let's lose on purpose. Let's lose again. And let's lose again. Good. So now the current speed is back to 1. So as we continue to win, the speed of the game would increase. And okay, let's just play so that I can show you the proof of it. What was the shape? I can't remember. Box, circle, triangle. Okay, I've lost. So it's a circle, triangle, circle, circle, triangle, circle. Let's win that and see. Star, box, star, circle, star, box, star, circle. Okay, see how it's faster now. I couldn't even memorize it, so that's exactly what I was going for. So the more you win, the faster the shapes become when they are showing up here. And yeah, so that's it for today, and I think that should be all for any technical aspect or any coding aspect of the game. So in the next few episodes, I believe we're almost done with this series. So in the next few episodes, we'll focus more on the... Oh, I did not put a function for this back button. Anyway, so in the next few episodes, we would fix the main menu, the designs, the logos, the colors. Probably will change these shapes, look for something more professional to put in, background and the sound and all that. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, hello everyone, welcome back. So today we are going to add sounds to our game, mainly button sounds. So let's get right into it. First of all, we're going to add our sound node to our main scene. So click on the main scene, search for audio stream player 2D. Since we are sort of making a 2D game, so it would make sense to take this 2D node, create it. Let's rename it to something like main sounds. Good. Next, we will create a script for this audio stream player. So what I have in mind is that all the various sounds will use this single stream player to play it. So the sound for selecting shapes, sound for winning, sound for losing, sound for selecting menu buttons, they will all be in this main sounds. So let's add a script to it. And we want the script to not be in the scenes, we want it to be in the script folder. And we create it. Good. Now I've already found some sounds online, so I'll just drag them into the folder here. Let's drag our sounds folder to this place. Good. So we have our sounds here, and we have our losing sound, our winning sound, shape select sound, main menu click, and our back sounds. Good. So this is our audio stream script. So first of all, I'm going to create variables. Sorry, this is just a sound. Yeah, you know what, let's just clean everything so it to be clear. No, not everything, just here. So we create our variables first. Let's just call it sound variables, and this will hold the variables for our various sounds. So this would be for our button click sound, which would be a type of audio stream MP3. Yeah, so the more specific you can get, the better. So audio stream MP3. Let's also copy it. Oh, sorry. Let's copy it here. Let's call this one win sound. Let's copy another one and we'll call it lose sound. Let's copy another one and we'll call it back sound. And let's copy another one and we'll call it shape select sound, or shape sound, let's just say shape sound. And last but not the least, we'll have a variable that points directly to the audio select, but this time it would be an audio stream player 2D. Okay, so let's cross check. Button click, win, lose, back, shape sound, and audio select. Good. Now, as usual, we'll make a reference to our main sounds, which is here, so it knows exactly where to find all these sounds. So at onReadyVar, and we'll call it main sounds, which would be equals to our $sign, our $sign main sounds, or let's just be more specific, roots main sounds. Yeah, so you can either type just main sounds, or if you want to be more specific, root of the main sounds on the left here. So let's just use this roots. Good, let's save it. Next, now let's create our onReady function. This onReady function, this is where you initialize everything that you want to happen when you start the game. So what we want to happen first is that we want to make a reference to our audio player, which thankfully it's itself. So just say equals to self. Equals to self. So the audio player is itself. Or did I call it audio player? Oh, audio select, sorry. The audio select is itself, so it doesn't have to worry about that. Now next, we will now create a path to each and every sound here, so it knows where to get the sounds when it's time to play them. So let's create a button click sound equals to preload the, let's see, main, yeah, here. Preload this. That's for the button click sound. We'll do another one for the win sound. Preload winning. Another one for the lose. Did I miss something? Sound winning.mp3. Okay, yeah. So lose sounds to preload losing. Good. Then our back sound equals to preload back. Our sound equals to preload shape select sound. Good. And are we missing anything? Button click, win sound, lose sound, back sound, and shape sound. Okay, so that's all correct. So I'll just make a reference to all these sounds that are here on the left. Good. Now next we're going to create functions so that whenever we call these functions, it should call the sounds that are here. So let's create a function. We'll call it button click sound, and this, when this is called, take the audio select and stream will be equal to the button click sound, then it should play it. Good. So func has the same name as a previously declared variable. Oh, okay, so I can just call it button click then. Good. So now we'll create another function. This time it would be, but the first one was button click, so we'll make another one for winning sound. But this time it would be equal to the win, okay, not winning sound, sorry, the win sound. Good. Then we create another one for the losing sound. This would be equal to the lose sound. Then we create another one for the back sound, or we'll just call it back, and this would be for the back sound. And last one, the shape sound. Good. So there are two methods of using the sound node. Is either you create different audio streams, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for each of the sounds, or you create one and then write a script that selects the sound based on the action that it performs. So let's save it. Good. Now next we want to make this script to be a global script, so we can access it anywhere that we want. So this way we don't have to make reference to it every time we want to use it. So we go to our project settings, auto load, click here, and then we also want to add our main sound.gd. Add it, main sounds. Good. So now anytime we want to call any of these functions, we can call it anywhere we want. So first off, let's go to our main script. Let's look for, where do we want our sounds to play? Okay, yeah, so let's use buttons first. Let's test it first and see if it works before we go too far with it. So let's see. Okay, so we have buttons here. On triangle, button select. When you select the triangle button, go to the main sounds and play the shape function on triangle. So now let's play it and see if it plays any sound. Good. So it works. Now that we know that it works, so we can go ahead with it. So let's copy this, paste it here, play the shape sound here, and play the shape sound here. Good. Then we also want sounds for winning and losing. So So if the player sequence is equal to the shape sequence, it means that I've won. So I just play the winning sound here, and if it's not, I'll play the losing sound. Good. Then next would be the options menu. So where's our options menu button here? Good. So when I press the back button, it should change to the main and also play this. Oh no. What did I even call it? Button clicks. Yeah, button click, right? Yeah, button click, no worries. So we save it. And what else do we need to add sounds to? Let's see. We have our button, our back button. What button is this? Yeah, let's also add a button sound to this. Our button click sound. And yes, so I think that is all for the sounds. Alright, so let's play it and see. Box, star, triangle. Uh-oh. Okay, star, triangle, box, star, circle. Triangle, box, star. Okay, so it's working, but if you notice something, the last sound doesn't play. It just skips that and plays the winning sound. Let's lose and see. See, the last sound didn't play. So let's check this button and see. Yeah, it's also working, though it's a very low sound. Let me increase the volume. Good, it's also working. So let's fix this problem. So I guess the only thing that we can do is we can add a small wait time. So before it plays the winning sound, it should wait for maybe like 0.5 milliseconds, let's say, before it plays the winning sound. That way we can give it enough time to process the sound selection. So we can say if this is equal to this, we can use await gets tree then creates. This is another way to do it instead of going to add like a timer node and all that. Dot timeout. So wait for 0.5 seconds before you play this sound. So let's copy this and also put it here and save it. So let's see what it does now. Box, triangle, circle. Okay, yes, it works. So 0.5 is okay. And let's lose and see. Good. So let's also try our main menu buttons and see if they work. Okay, so I haven't added the sounds to this, and let's do that. So let's go to our start button here. When it's clicked, I want you to play oh no, not this. Sorry, I want you to go to the main sounds and play the button click sound. Copy this, paste it here, and also in the exit, paste it here. Save, and let's try it and see. Good, it works. So yes, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Hello and welcome to the last video in the series. Thank you all so much for watching my videos, all from the beginning down to this last part, and let's get right into it. So let's open up our Godot. Okay, and our shape pattern. Good. So the game is coming very nice. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to add just a little bit of polish. So currently our buttons are just, they look very boring, and we're going to change that. Then we'll probably add a small like fade in, fade out, so it won't just look so jarring, like when you press the start button immediately it just starts the game. Let me show you. So you press start, it just goes there immediately, and we don't want this. We want to add like a fade in, fade out effect, so it goes to black and then comes out of black to show this. Okay, so first off, let's do our buttons. So I went on itch.io and I found some royalty-free, license-free buttons that we can use and replace them with these ones that we have here. So these are the buttons that we have: buttons for back, options, play, and quit. So let's just copy this folder, or let's move it. We should be able to move it into here, into our art folder. So drag the buttons here. Good. No, inside the arts. Nice. So under art we have buttons, and then we have back, button, and everything. Good. Next, now we want to change the type of this from a button to a texture button. So there's something called a texture button. When we click on it, go here, change type, and search for a texture button. Change it to that. Now when you go to your inspector here, you have textures. So what should the button look like when it's normal and when it's pressed? So when it's normal, we want our start button, which is play. We're going to use play to look like this. So drag the first one here to look like this, play. And when it's pressed, we want it to look like this. Good. Same thing for the options button. Come here, change type to a texture button. Bring the textures down and go to our options and drag it here, normal, and drag when it's pressed. And last but not the least, our exit button. So we'll change it to a texture button. Then we'll drag our quit button. Oh wait, first let's open up our textures, drag our quit button here, and drag the quit button for pressed. Good, looking very good. So let's center this. Go to our menu buttons. That should be in our, where is it? Our anchors. Layout mode, position. There should be a way we can center it to anchors. And let's see if we make it center. Okay, no. Then we'll just drag it. We'll drag our menu buttons here. Good. So let's save it. Let's play it and see what we have. So good. Options button back. So our options button, when you press it, it goes down and you come back. Play, it plays. Good. We'll also change this back button also, and this one. So let's also change our back button. Let's go to our options menu. So this back button, we want to change it. Let's do the same thing. Click on our back button, change type to a texture button. Then open up our textures, go to back, first one, and the third one should be pressed. Good. That looks very good. Okay, then there should be one more place with a back button. Yeah, the main. So we do the same thing for the main also. Change type to a texture button. Then we open it up, drag our back button here, and drag the third one here. Good. So now if we play the game, it looks good. Press back, it goes here, options, back. Oh, something is wrong with that. The whole screen came down. We'll fix that. So back and quit. Okay, this is looking very good so far. Why did this come out? Oh, okay, yeah, this is the problem. Just put it back like this. Let's play it and see. Yep, so it looks better now. Options, back, play, back, quit. Good. Now that reminds me, we have to do something about this. Well, something place. So we could just have something like a small list of instructions on how to play the game. So let's see, I already typed something up. Let me see if I can get it. Copy it. Okay, so I'll just go here. Let's move this high score down a bit. Sorry, high score down here. Let's go here. Let's clean this and paste the actual instructions. Okay, so it's too big. Now let's reduce the size to maybe 10. Okay, it's too small. 20. Oh, too small. 30. Yeah, 30 is perfect. So let's expand it. And let's space it out. So how to play, number 1, watch the shapes. Number 2, memorize the sequence carefully. Number 3, when the sequence ends, taps the smaller boxes in the same order as shown. Number 4, number 5, and number 6. Good. So let's expand. Let's move this high score down a bit so you can expand it. Perfect. So now we have something in the options menu. So we don't even need this how to play. Let's just clean it up. How to play. Good. So now we go into the options menu. You can see the instructions on how to play the game. Okay, this is looking clean so far. So let's look at our main menu. Let's play from here. We have the name of the game. We have the buttons, options. Oh, watch the box at the page. Memorize the sequence carefully. You can see all the instructions. You can see the high score. You can go back and you can play the game. Good. This is good. Quit. Now, and last but not the least, now we're going to add in our fade in and fade out effect. So first off, what we're going to do, we're going to create a new scene. It's going to be a canvas layer because we want this to be on top of the game, so it goes dark when we want it to go dark and then it becomes bright when we want it to become bright. So let's look for a canvas layer. Then we need an animation player to, well, make the animation of going from black to white and white to black. So animation player, and we also need a color rect. Good. Make this color rect to fill up the entire screen. Should be somewhere. Yeah, okay, yeah. full rect. Good, perfect. So we're going to make two animations. First one would be from fade, let's just say from black to white. From black to white. Well, not necessarily white, but from black to whatever it's supposed to show. And the other one would be from white to black. Good. Okay, so let's do the first one. The first one would be from white to black. So let's make it 5. Let's see if 5 seconds would be okay. Maybe too long. Let's make it 0.5. Let's expand it a bit so we can see what we're working with. Good. So now we're going to key in when the background is white, but not necessarily white. Let's just say it has no color. Let's see if we can do it. Yeah. So we'll key in from here, key it, and then we come here and key it to black. No, let's delete it. Not that one. Key it when it's black. And we key it. So that way, you see when we play it like this, see, it fades in and it fades out. Then we'll do it for the other one, but we'll do it the other way around. So here will be black and here will be, well, transparent or white. So let's go here. Let's make it 0.5. And here was white. Okay, so here will be black. So we key it there, and then when you get here, we remove it. So now it fades here and fades here like this. Good, this is very good. And last but not the least, we go into our resets. So when you start the game, it should always be white. Okay, yeah, so it should always be white and not black, so you won't start the game and the screen is all black. So it should always be white like this. And now we save it. Let's just call it our fade transition, or however our scenes. So let's just call it our fade transition. Fade transition. And we save it. Good. Now next, we're going to add a script to our canvas layer, so we can call the function for fading in and fading out. So let's add a script for the fade GD. Let's add into our script folder here. Good. And we create it. Let's clean all this up and let's bring in our animation player. So we do our ads on ready var, call it animation player, be equals to the animation player. Good. Then we'll create a function called let us say go to black. Go to black. And create another one called it goes to black and then it goes from black. Let's just say goes from black. Good. So now we go to the first one. When it goes to black, we want to call the animation that we made in the animation player. So we would do our, when it wants to go to black, so we call our animation player dot play, go fade from white to black. Good. And then we add our we add something called like our await animation. So wait for the animation to finish before you do anything. It's like a safe way to make sure that the animation plays before anything goes on. So await animation player dot animation finished. We'll do the same thing here, but this time it will play the other animation. So animation dot play, fade white to black, black to white. Good. And you also await the animation player dot animation finished. Then we save it. Next, now we want to make it to be global, so we can access this scene anywhere, especially in our main menu where we want to access it. So let's go into our project settings, our globals, click here, scenes, and we need our fade transition scene. We add it, close it. So now let's play our game. I want to add a transition here so that when I press play, but don't worry about it, when I press play, it doesn't just immediately go into the game. It fades in and out, and then it shows the game. Okay. So let's go into where our start button is, which is in the main menu.gd. Yeah, here it is. So we want to fade to black. When you press the button, go to black screen. So when you press the button, await, I think, what did we call our, what was the name of the fade transition? Okay, so await the fade transition dot go to black. When that is done, then you can play the sound. Let's copy it. Then you can play the sound. Then you fade out of the black. Then you can transition into the main scene. Then we save it, and then we play. Good. So if you notice something, you can see that my button clicks are not working, and that is because the buttons are not enabled. So we just have to, it's a very simple fix. It's a thing that Godot does. I don't know why it does that. Well, all you have to do is go to your fade transition, go to your color rect, search for your filter or mouse. Yeah, mouse filter, and then put it to ignore. Then save it. So now if you play the game, no, not this one. If you play from the main menu, so now the buttons are working. So now if you press play, good. So it works perfectly. You go back, press play. Perfect. That's what I wanted to add. So I'll also add it for the options menu. So I'll just do the same thing. I'll copy this. Copy this here, and then bring the sounds here, and then copy this here. Let's play it. So options menu goes here, back, play goes here. Very good, very good. Then the last thing that I want to do is to increase the number of times that we have to win. So in one of the previous videos, I left it at 1, if I believe I'm correct. I left it at 1, and it was supposed to be after 3 wins you would move on to the next. So all we have to do is just do divided by 2. So let's make it 2 wins. So after 2 wins you move on to the next speed, and we save it. Very good. So now if we let's put in our brackets. So it's just a simple fix. So now if we play the game, we have to win 3 times before it goes into the next. Sorry, we have to win 2 times before it goes into the next stage, which will show 4 pictures here, and so on and so forth. And yeah, so that would be the end of the additions for me. Yeah, so this has been a very incredible journey for me. As I'm also making the video, I'm also learning new aspects and new areas about Godot, and it's been really fun. So if maybe you have some ideas, or you want to make some modifications or some changes, the game would be available on my itch.io page, which I will link in the description below, and the full code is available in the GitHub repository, so you can make changes, or you can do what you want with it. And as for me, thank you all so much for watching my videos, and I hope to see you guys in the next series, or in the next aspect, or what I choose to do with the channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.